Well, for more on the state capture inquiry, we cross to our senior reporter, Mzwandile Mbeche, who's standing by. Mzwandile, so Mr. McBride has been sitting since the morning. He's been sitting since the morning, and of course, it took some time before he actually began his testimony. There was a lot of procedural stuff that happened. And on top of that, there was an incident as well where you had to adjourn briefly. Just tell us about that.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Nompo. Well, the incident that we had to adjourn briefly really had to do with some staffing issues. I think one of the members of staff who is manning the recording system for the commission took ill. So the commission, remember, must record everything that is happening here. So they had to take that adjournment so that they could change personnel. So it was not really anything beyond perhaps what we're here for.
All right, Mzwandile. And just in terms of the testimony that's been given so far, what is Mr. McBride saying?
Oh, well, maybe before I get to the point of Mr. McBride, Nombo, maybe let me just remind our viewers about why it took so long before he then took the witness stand. Nombu, in his evidence, you'd remember that it was postponed twice. I mean, initially, he was supposed to speak to this commission in February, but because there is a number of people that he was going to implicate, and then those people needed to be given notices, so, and then it was postponed. A similar situation happened earlier this week, so not everyone had been located. But what was interesting, Nombu, was that when we began this morning, it then transpired that one of the people implicated is the brother of the chairperson of the commission, the brother of Judge Zondo, Zondo. Apparently, Zondo chaired one of the panels which Mr. McBride is going to be speaking about. So in his testimony, he does make some statement about that panel that was chaired by Mr. Zondo. So given that there is Mr. Zondo, who is the judge or the chairperson here, and his brother being implicated, so necessarily the issue of conflict of interest would arise. But then it became apparent that all interested parties felt that whatever McBride was saying about Mr. Zondo, that is Mxolisi, perhaps may have no material effect into the evidence. And they both said, I mean, they were comfortable for the judge to continue presiding. But the legal commission, Nombu, took extra care to say, given that there is this situation, they needed to approach it with the greatest of care. So they decided that the judge will still sit through that piece that will talk about Mxolisi Zondo, but he will make no findings whatsoever. And then he will just sit through it, and then they will approach also the president. Remember, it's only the president that can perhaps amend the terms of reference of this commission, because the judge can't recuse himself here, because here he is sitting as the chairperson of the commission, not necessarily as the judge of the court. So he can't recuse himself, so the provisions don't allow that. So it's the president that can make that amendment to perhaps accommodate that. But that issue was then concluded that so whatever it will be said, so the judge will make no findings whatsoever. And in the meantime, if there are members of the public really who want to make submissions around this issue, so they are free to do that. So, and then we went on, Nombu, to talk about what is going to be transpiring throughout. Basically, what the commission did, the evidence leader, was that he basically told this commission that there is a number of agencies that are meant to fight corruption in this country, whether you're talking about police, whether you're talking about NPA, but we find ourselves here with a commission, the commission that is going to basically look at the issue of corruption. So basically, those are the issues that really delayed the proceedings, or not necessarily delayed the proceedings, but took time. So now Mr. McBride is basically laying out what is it that he is going to say, and in due course we'll hear him implicate a number of people.
All right, Mzwandile, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your report. That was my colleague Mzwandile Mbeche just reporting on the state capture inquiry.